Am I the asshole for walking out of a practice after my substitute swim coach told me I couldn't? For some background, I, 15F, have been swimming competitively for a club team for a little over 7 years, which means I know every coach very well and have been coached by almost all of them at some point. I also work for the swim team and teach swim lessons to the younger kids. This is an official job. I have a work permit and receive consistent pay for teaching these lessons. I teach swim lessons for the team twice a week. The lessons are scheduled to start 10 minutes after my practice gets done, so if I am coaching, I typically get out of practice about 5-10 minutes early so I can shower and change. These are older kids so I don't have to be in the water with them. My supervisor likes us to be a few minutes early, and I also like to look presentable at least and be a good role model to the younger kids. The other day, my current coach, 30-ish M, wasn't able to make our practice, which doesn't happen very often. Instead of canceling practice, another one of the coaches, 50-ish F, took his place. We all knew this coach very well and I personally had her as a coach for 3.5 years. She had a lot of experience and was constantly going to conventions to learn how to coach her swimmers better. My typical coach is very aware that I leave early on these days as it has been going on for several weeks. When I saw we had the other coach for the day, I immediately went up to her and told her I would be getting out early. She replied by saying 10 minutes was plenty of time. I tried to explain that the job started in 10 minutes and I needed to be there early, but she insisted that 10 minutes was enough. At this point in my life, saving up for a car, I prioritized my job over athletics, and decided I would be leaving when I needed to no matter what she said. About 10 minutes early, I got out of the pool and put my equipment away. The substitute coach stopped me and told me to get back in the pool and finish the current set, which would be ending a few minutes after practice should end, actually. I repeated myself, telling her that I had to leave to get ready for work, but she told me again to put my cap back on. I then proceeded to tell her how I admired her as a coach. She was always learning new coaching techniques, and she had so much experience and knowledge, but I needed to leave. I calmly stated that my job isn't optional, and that my supervisor expected me to be there early. Even after all this, she was still upset and told me to get back in the pool. I firmly said that I was not asking for permission, I was telling her I was leaving, and then walked out. She was gone by the time I returned to the pool deck to begin work. I have never stood up to an adult like that, and I'm wondering if I made the right decision. I don't want her to tell my normal coach and have him be upset either. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You handled this like an adult would. You have a priority obligation and they weren't being respectful of your time and stated needs, substituting their own supposition over your experience of being in this exact situation before. While there may be fallout, you did what you were supposed to. Not the asshole. You're a higher schooler and you have a stronger spine than most adults. You're doing amazing, honey. Not the asshole. Good for you. You honored your work commitment. And you went about it a really good way by starting with a compliment. It's a management technique to help bad news go down better. It didn't work out, but it's great at diffusing anger. If you need to, talk to your usual coach and let them know what happened. But you are fine. Not the asshole. She was being unreasonable, but you need to tell your coach and explain to him how you tried to explain it to her. Most likely she'll tell him and say you were being insubordinate. Not the asshole. Professional career always comes first over hobbies. You just happen to have overlap between the two. Until you're a sponsored athlete, swimming competitions will stay in the hobby category. You stood up for yourself politely, but firmly, which is good. The sub-coach was power-tripping, because this is an after-school activity. You are choosing to be there because you want to be. She cannot make you do anything, she's simply there to guide your training. Not the asshole. This is like a textbook lesson on how to stand up for yourself. Most people can't respond this well to a reasonable request. Nice job. Not the asshole. You told her, and I believe if your original coach thinks it's fine then it shouldn't be an issue. Not the asshole. Well done. You walked that line of being as respectful as possible, while remaining firm about what you had to do. It would be a good idea to touch base with your regular coach about what happened, just to make sure he hears your side of events. Adults often pull rank over teenagers when the adults are upset, and other adults usually take that at face value unless you reach out to make sure you're heard. That being said, you've handled this quite well. These are all skills that will stand you in good stead in work situations to come, and all the best to you saving up for your first car. Not the asshole, it's like she was on some weird power trip. You did great. Not the asshole, you have responsibilities, she's absurd and you need to tell your coach about it or she will do same with others. Not the asshole. You're going to go far in life with that approach. Polite but firm is how you set healthy boundaries. Don't change a thing. Not the asshole. You sound like a very responsible person and you should be proud of yourself for standing up for yourself. I think you're probably overthinking it, but talking to your regular coach might be a good idea. Not the asshole. But if you can, I would send an email or something to your usual coach. Try and get your side of the story out before she does. Because there's no way she's not going to do her best to paint you as a disrespectful brat. Not the asshole, she was being needlessly harsh. You were very clear. It can be a little scary when you're a kid and you have to stand up to an adult, but you did a good job. Not the asshole. Nice job on standing up for yourself. Not the asshole, you handled the issue in a professional manner. You informed the coach ahead of time that you would be leaving and you stuck to your word. While you may think you were being rude to an adult, you weren't. Taking responsibility for your job is a mature thing, and I'm surprised a coach whom, as you stated, was always learning new coaching techniques, and she had so much experience and knowledge, wasn't impressed with the fact you want to be professional and a good role model. I would speak with your regular coach about what happened if you are truly concerned. However, I don't think it's necessary. You made the right decision. Not the asshole, and I am so proud of how adult and professionally you handled this situation. Hell, I'm older than you and I wouldn't even have bothered with so many words, I would have just walked. Not the asshole all the way. People need to respect others' time. Holy crap, you're mature. I would have told her to fuck right off. The way you handled that makes you seem way older than just 15. Don't worry about it. I'm sure if she says anything your coach will understand. You were very respectful and polite about the entire thing. Especially if your actual coach is on with you leaving on these days. Not the asshole. Heck no. Not the asshole. You were respectful and polite. Don't worry anymore about this. You made the right decision. The job is your chosen priority. You told her these facts. I think for some reason she believed you were trying to get one over on her, and woe to those who would question her authority. Your regular coach knows and agrees to let you leave early. If the substitute wishes to make a deal out of it, just reiterate you talked to her beforehand and didn't throw a fit. Anyway, not the asshole. Not the asshole. Good job standing up for yourself. Not the asshole, you handlers this with maturity and grace. Unfortunately, your substitute coach did not handle this well at all. Good for you. Open mouth smile. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I was rude to an adult and may be seen as an asshole. I want to know if I made the right decision. Not the asshole, you were not rude. They were rude. Just because you're younger doesn't mean they have absolute dominion or say over you. You warned them, told them what was going on and then held your ground. I hate that it's seen as rude when a child, someone younger than their elder, decides to do their own thing, especially for someone in their teens. Good on you for standing up for yourself. NTA. You did that perfectly. You did everything exactly as you should, in order and everything with more firm language when she didn't get it. Now time to message, call normal coach and explain what happened, before she does, so that it's crystal clear what occurred. Not the asshole, perfectly handled, from your description. Not the asshole, I'm 24 and feel so much admiration for how you handled that. You stood up for yourself and also spoke with respectfulness and maturity that few adults do. Good job, you've got a great head on your shoulders and prioritize your life perfectly. Not the asshole. And #X200B. But making a splash in the world of communication and standing up for yourself. You did the right thing. You sound very responsible and kudos to you for having your priorities straight. Some adults who teach and work with younger people use it as an excuse to power trip like crazy and assert any type of dominance over small situations. That sounds like what she was doing, especially since you had this type of understanding with your regular coach. And #X200B. I would suggest have that conversation with your regular coach though, just to avoid any miscommunications or name smearing via Miss Power Trip. Not the asshole substitute coach was clearly having a power trip, and you handled this maturely, and exactly as you should. They had no business interfering with your job and overstepped their duty as substitute. I'd report this to your head coach. Not the asshole. When I swam for my high school, I was also in a band that practiced weekly, and I had to cut out of practice 15 minutes early every Thursday. The varsity coach was a hard ass, but he understood other obligations and didn't mind me leaving. You are not the asshole for having a life outside your sport. Good on you, op. Please carry this attitude into adulthood. I can't tell you how many jobs I've had where I was entitled to vacation time. Would inform them when I was taking said time and be told, I am sorry but we just can't afford to lose anyone right now, your vacation isn't approved. It took me losing accrued vacay time when the year turned over to learn the lesson op already knows. From that point on I no longer asked to take time off, and when they come back with, sorry, you can't right now, I do exactly what op did. I wasn't asking to take my vacation. I was telling you I wouldn't be here so the company could make arrangements to cover the shifts. This is a lesson far more adults need to learn. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your normal coach will understand if the substitute coach tells him. Not the asshole. You're 15 and did something I found hard to do until my early 20s. You stood your ground against an authority figure and then followed through. That's amazing. You definitely did the right thing, and since your normal coach has understood about you leaving early, I doubt he'd be upset. Well, maybe he would be, but not at you. The sub-coach was out of line and you called her on it and walked away. I'm so proud of you. That's a very hard thing to do. Not the asshole. You handled this situation perfectly. If you're worried about your coach being upset, go talk to him, or email or whatever means if communication is preferred, about what happened. Let him hear about the conflict from you rather than the sub. Bravo. You absolutely did the right thing. You handled this so much better than most adults even could. Be proud of yourself, you deserve it. As a swim coach myself, if I had a kid come up to me beforehand and let me know that they had to get out of the pool for work, I'd be like, cool. Just remind me when you're leaving. I'm a goldfish, I don't remember much, haha. I would be annoyed if you didn't tell me beforehand and just got out, but I would still let you go. That's not what happened here. Look, she probably been to courses where we get told that discipline and treating everyone the same is really important. And she probably didn't want to be taken advantage of if she was just a fill-in. But she handled it incorrectly. Not the asshole. As a swimmer who has many friends who work as you do, I can tell you that you handled this perfectly. My only question is that if everyone on the team interacts with each other, how does this coach not know the supervisor? Surely they interact and know about the obligations of doing swim lessons. That being said, that isn't up to you, so not the asshole. It is just weird that the supervisor and the coach have no communication about this. Way clapping hands light skin tone to clapping hands light skin tone go clapping hands light skin tone girl clapping hands light skin tone. Not the asshole. You were assertive, not rude. You made the correct call here, and you did it as respectfully as you could. As a 30-something male, I wish I'd have had the self-control and constructive approach you took. In reality, I'd have probably raised a questioning eyebrow and just walked off, at best. You're fucking awesome, kid. Good for you, not letting yourself be bullied by a power-hungry Nazi freak. 100,000% not the asshole. Not the asshole. You handled it really well. You prioritized your job over sports and your coach is just too immature to understand or respect that. In this situation, walking out was the right thing to do. Not the asshole. Your coach needs to understand that even though high school athletics can feel very serious, for most it's still a hobby, and it's very, very weird if they try to police you over a hobby. You don't have an obligation to be there. You are obliged to show up at your job in a presentable way and on time. So yeah, you did the right thing. Not the asshole. Honestly, it sounds like she was trying to throw her weight around and get you to submit to her. You seem to know her well enough to respect her coaching style, but clearly she's got some kind of control issues if she refused to let you leave 10 million early for your job. Especially since it sounded like you were being respectful and patient about it. I'm happy you stood up for yourself and did what you had to do. It's very respectable and you sound very mature. Not the asshole. I wish I had such poise and strength when I was your age. Not the asshole. You handled the situation better than most adults. Standing up for yourself doesn't make you an asshole, it's the way you go about it. You remained calm and respectful, you did everything right. If my future children are able to handle a similar situation half as well as you did here, I will consider it a parenting win. I am an adult and would not have been able to handle it that well. I would have wished I could. I would be super proud of my kid if they handled it like that. Good job. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You handled this better than most adults would. Not the asshole. That was perfect. Way to stand up for yourself and staying calm and composed. Not the asshole. This is how you approach life. You were respectful and responsible. You do know have to ask for permission to make a living. You informed her prior to practice. That's all you needed to do.